Welcome back to the Untold Story of Men. This is episode 14, and this is a redo.
Yes.
I'd like to welcome our guest, Rod.
How you going?
Good, bro. So it's a redo. The last episode we done, we lost the audio.
Yeah.
So welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Be a bit easier the second time, really.
Yeah, I think so as well, bro. I think so as well. So we spoke last time, went through quite some stuff.
Yep.
We're going to mix it up a little bit. We'll get to that, but let's just start at the start of Rod's life.
Yep.
How was the childhood?
Oh, it was disrupted childhood. Grew up in Sydney.
Whereabouts?
North Turramurra.
North Turramurra, where's that?
North Shore.
Okay.
So one of the richest areas in Sydney at the time. And we were in housing commission.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like 3 commission houses in this little cul-de-sac and we're in it.
Not far from the beach?
40 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But I was the poorest kid in the richest neighbourhood. Had my father was a butcher by trade, so early starts, late finishes, always tie, extreme narcissist.
Okay.
Like, he had, my mum was on a medication called Seropax for years and years and years.
Oh,
10 years. It's sort of like Ritalin.
Right.
Yeah, but
She
for grown
struggled
ups,
with ADHD or something?
not at all.
Yeah.
It was a control mechanism. She used to get contact dermatitis through nerves and that, and I'm highly strung nervous dyspepsia.
Yeah.
So she went to the doctor and they said, "Oh, we'll give you some of these. I'll take the edge off," and then the dose got bigger and bigger. And then my father left and came back 6 times. in
Well,
my
throughout your
childhood.
childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was 6, he'd be up early, 4:30 in the morning. I always watched the Thunderbirds because he'd be up packing his guts up. I'd wake up, get up, watch the Thunderbirds. And when I was 6, he actually came to my bed. He woke me up. He said, Rod, I'm leaving. And I was like, "Oh, okay, see Dad." He goes, he said, "I need you to look after your mum and your sisters." He said, "I'm leaving for good." And that was it.
Wow. How many
So-
sisters?
2.
Two.
One older, one younger.
So you're mid-child?
Mid-child. So I became the man of the house then.
Yeah, wow.
So from about
How old are you?
6,
Yeah.
so 7 or 8, I started mowing the lawns. Was chopping wood for the fire because we had open fires then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be at the back with a handsaw.
You took on a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And lost a lot of my childhood. Grew up very quickly.
Yeah.
It was look after your mum, all that. He came back for a couple of years. I was probably about 8 or 9. My mum had a big problem with hearing. When she was a little kid, she was about that age, about 5 or 6. She got up in a mirror and stuck a bobby pin in her ear to clean her ear and burst her eardrum. So she had 7 operations trying to reconstruct an eardrum, and they tried different things, like artificial stuff, but her body kept rejecting it. So she'd have to go back in, have it reversed, taken out, then they try again, put natural stuff in there, but in the end they gave up. So yeah, look, the way I am, the way I talk, I went to school year 4 and 5. The teacher said to my mum, "Oh, can you get Rod to stop shouting?" It was always there.
Because you've been doing it at home.
Yeah, because it was always a joke, if you're ever going to say something, like back chat my mum, always be on the left side. Because she couldn't hear. Like you're going to get a bit of lip.
Yeah.
But on the right side, she could hear fine. So I got softer and softer because of this teacher, and my mum ended up going to school and said, "You can't tell him to talk softly, I can't hear him." Around that time, they thought I had problems with ADHD and autisms and that, but it wasn't. It's not like now.
I think they throw that term out very loosely, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my problem was my mum thought I was going deaf. So she had me hearing tested, and the doctor said, "Look, your audiologist or whatever said, look, he can hear fine.
Yeah.
He's just ignoring."
Selective hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could be watching the TV, the radio could be playing, and someone could be talking to me, and I could tell you exactly what was going on.
Yeah, I can relate to that, bro. Yeah.
And whereas a lot of people, they go, "Okay, I'm watching TV," and someone tries to talk to them, they go, "Oh, yeah," like that, and they wouldn't know what's been said, but I'll be able to tell you exactly what they said.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. So it's like a buzz in your head all the time, like you're pinging, it's all part of the jumpiness and the nerves and all that sort of stuff.
It does, it's funny because when I've like experienced that a lot, you think that you're going a little bit crazy.
Oh yeah,
because you're like, why can't I understand 3 different things at the same time?
Yeah, when everybody's telling you to concentrate on what you're doing, well, okay, but why concentrate on this when I can easily concentrate on all of it?
Yeah. So I'll be on the couch and I'll be doom scrolling, and the TV will be on. And this is like, pick one.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing both.
Yeah, that's it.
And now it's soothing.
Yeah. How many screens can you hit in front of your face at one time? But if you can focus on all of them,
yeah.
But, it's to your detriment sometimes because you get some confusion in your head, every now and then.
I find that
things are happening.
It made me forget.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah.
So even though I can listen and understand it all at the same time, after an hour or two, it's like, I don't remember what
you just don't have the retention.
Yeah.
Unless it's something really interesting,
it'll
go in and then it'll go, get locked in the front of the label. No cheats in them.
Yeah. So. And another thing I used to do is to make myself remember it is I would repeat what I'm hearing in my head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my remembering tool is I'll meet someone. Oh, jeez, I know their face. I know faces. I'll never forget a face, but do I know their name? And embarrassing enough, I said to you, what's your missus' name? I'm thinking, Mandy for some reason. Close, but not, But I'll go through the alphabet. I'll start going, A, Amanda, Amy, B, Bethany, like that. And I've never got through the alphabet twice before I remembered.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I'll just go A, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, Fred. It'll be so easy, but I'll give myself that,
Yeah.
I haven't taught my kids to do it, and it's effective with them too.
Yeah.
So, but finally, he had a big car accident. And
your man?
Yeah. And couldn't work. He fractured his pelvis in 6 places. So he's immobilised. Lost his flat because he was living away. He lost his flat. We had to go pick all the stuff up, and he went to my sister's room at home because they worked together.
How old were you then?
Must have been about 13.
Yeah,
I guess. And a very confusing time because you haven't had them there, and now they're back. But the whole dynamic, they were separate, but we were basically nursing him, like taking food into him, drinks, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, too. They couldn't move.
He needed full support.
Yeah. So eventually, after about 12 months or something like that, and I don't even know how it unfolded, but they had a night and gone out or something like that. They had a night and they were back together again. I remember I was 15 and he'd had a bad day at work and he was tired and he'd fall asleep on the lounge. And I was just mucking around. I was, yelling out. And my mum told me to do something. I didn't put the bins out or something like that. And I said, bloody hell, I'll just finish this show and I'll do it. And he woke up and come over and grabbed me by the scruff, like this, by the front. I had flanny pyjamas on, like that. And he just ripped all the buttons on my flannies. And that was the end. I jumped up. Said, "Don't you never touch anybody else in this house again, get out." And I threw him out of the house.
Yeah.
So when I was 15, then it was just me, my sisters and my mum, I didn't speak to him for probably about 12 months after that.
Yeah.
After that event. Yeah. But my whole childhood was just trying to win his praise. So one time he came back, he got right into keeping and breeding Australian birds.
What kind of birds?
Parrots, finches, everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Built big aviaries out the back. And he'd spend hours. He'd come home from work. He'd just go straight out to the aviaries and spend hours and hours and hours out there. And I'd be out there kicking a football around and he'd just ignoring me and so forth. So I started looking up stuff from the encyclopedia. Back then, encyclopedias, not the internet. Started looking up things. Got a book about Australian birds and started finding out how they breed and all this sort of stuff. The day he said something about a breeding pair of birds he had, he said, "I'm going to do this with them." "No, Dad, you got to do this." And he got rid of them all. Straight away.
Really?
Within 2 weeks, got rid of all of them, pulled down the aviaries. Then no one was going to know more than him about what he was doing. Same thing happened on Ted Minvoli.
Yeah.
So he's living away. He used to pick me up on the Friday night, and we used to go in a parent kid league on Friday night. And I started getting pretty good. And then the Junior Centre Championship came up. So I was on handicap, so I entered into that and I won it. He gave up bowling because he hadn't won a 7 championships. Well, just no.
So you never said something like, I'm proud of you or anything like that?
No, never. I played rugby at a very high level, so I trialled for the Gordon Colts.
Who were they?
Gordon, the T Gordon Rugby Union. That's their.
Is that equivalent to like first grade here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's like playing, well, I don't know.
Is that for scores?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that was just rugby union, yeah.
But Randwick plays in the cup.
Okay.
Randwick, Warringah, all those. Gordon was one of those that won many.
So you played high level footy?
Oh, yeah.
And how old when you played high level footy?
Oh, from the age of 9 through to 18.
Yeah, well, man.
Yeah. And cricket, competitive cricket. So we won 7 out of 9 pennants for cricket. So I was always active. You never ever watched me play cricket once or rugby. Even if it was on holidays and had Saturday morning off, he wouldn't come. So my mum, and because of the controlling behaviour, my mum had a licence, but she was never allowed to drive.
Right.
So we walked everywhere. Walked to school. She walks to school. She'd volunteer 3-4 days a week at the school. So then she could be at school. She'd walk us home, but she wasn't allowed to drive. He had the car. He'd take her shopping once a week. She wasn't allowed to shop other than if he was
like
with her.
Food shopping?
Yeah, food shopping. Franklin's, like going to Franklin's and buying, the week's groceries. No, not allowed to buy anything like maybe occasionally a bit of milk or bread, but nothing substantial. She wasn't allowed to have any control of any money or anything like that. Just total control and behaviour.
He sounds like an unpleasant man.
Yeah.
So what was I don't know if you know much about it, but what was his childhood like?
4 brothers, 1 sister. My auntie had to be able to do a full service on a car, change a tyre. My grandfather, he was a beautiful man, but a hard man.
Right.
Really hard. Like the old school working class. He'd come home and one of his spanners would be out in the backyard and he'd start looking for someone to hit.
Yeah, right.
Who the bloody hell like this?
So he was quite controlling.
And everybody would run away. And my nan was the typical, stereotypical housewife. She cooked, cleaned, never worked, But later on we found out, she had a drinking problem. She'd be drinking beer.
Yeah.
So, I think the behaviours he grew up with had a lot to do with it.
Well, we do. We mimic a lot of our parents.
Yeah.
We either strive to be like them or we go completely opposite.
Yeah. And I've done more or less that. Like I know I've got narcissistic characteristics.
But doesn't everyone?
Yeah.
Again, that's another thing that gets thrown around loosely.
Yeah, but I actively hit them on the head.
Yeah.
So if I ever said to my kids something that how, shit on my mother or shit on my father, you hear that voice of what they used to say to you, I'll correct it straight away.
Yeah, that's good awareness. Yeah.
I'll go to my kids say, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Like you've done, a good job. I coached now I've got 5 kids. So I've got a daughter 31, boy 29, 21-year-old boy, 19 daughter and 11 son.
Yeah, cool.
I've coached them all.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's how you've gone the opposite of your father there.
Unless I was working, I was at all their matches.
Yeah,
or unless there was a conflict.
Yeah.
And I was coaching and the other one had a game. My young bloke with Morissette, they won the title this year down there.
Oh, I think I've seen that post.
Yeah. He's 16 seasons. That's his first title. Yeah. So, I couldn't contain myself. Yeah. I'm off the bench on the field. Yeah, mate, you're going to get a kiss from your dad. And he didn't even flinch. Yeah. It was a proud moment. Yeah. And he got the player's player for the season. So.
Yeah, awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Brilliant striker of the ball.
Yeah.
Brilliant footballer. Laziest player you'll ever see in your life. To stand up there, say, give me the ball, put it in the net, but never run for it. But hit a ball sweetly. You'd never seen anybody hit a ball like that.
Yeah, well done.
But he scored a few goals throughout the season, he finally got his title, so he's thinking about retiring now.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, let's go back to Sydney.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in Sydney?
Way different to now.
I can imagine.
I dream going down there now.
How old are you now?
I'm 56 next Saturday.
56? So
Yeah.
what? Let's go back, say, 46 years ago, 10 years old.
Mate.
What was it like growing up in Sydney at 10 years old?
Look, when my mum had her ear operation, she
Yeah.
came out of hospital, and for about 3 weeks she couldn't be in the house. Couldn't be any loud noises in case there was a rupture or something like that. So my sisters used to go to my auntie's place, and I used to always go stay with my nan.
Yeah.
And she lived in Park Road, Auburn, of all places.
Okay, where's that? Give me a little...
Park Road, Parramatta.
Parramatta, yeah.
But Lidcombe.
Yep.
Lidcombe, Auburn. Okay, so now they call it Auburn on now because of Lebanese.
Right. Yeah.
Lebanon, little Lebanon. Now it's Vietnamese in there. But I remember we'd go down to the local shops at Barella, and you'd walk out the door and you'd never close the big door in summer. You just let the screen door close behind you, and nothing would be changed unless the wind blew something off the... And I thought about it was probably about 25, 30 years ago. There was a young bloke that was stabbed. He had 20 cents in his pocket, but they stabbed him to death for his Reeboks.
Boy, shoes.
Yeah, right near where my nan used to live, where we used to be able to just freely walk down the road and leave everything open.
Yeah.
Now, no way in the world.
No.
Just totally, everywhere but is totally different. Like we've had a spade on up here at Charlestown where there was stabbings, week after week.
Yeah, well, there was something happened too at Mayfield as well.
Yeah.
There's been quite a few things lately.
Yeah. But it was just a different world.
Yeah.
In my area where I was, very leafy suburbs, we had, you rode everywhere. You get on your pushy and you ride everywhere. You get told on a Saturday morning, my mum would be cleaning the house, and you get told, come back when the street lights are on.
That's what we get told as well.
If you're lucky, you got a chance to make a peanut butter sandwich, which you shared with all your mates, and none of them died. You never go out with a drink.
Yeah.
You go to the next door neighbours and drink out of their hose, drag through dog shit and everything, but you just drink out of the bloody hose because everybody had a hose and no one cared if you were on their property.
Yeah, we used to do that too. Yeah.
Or you go down the local creek and drink the running water.
No, we never did that.
Oh, yeah, we did that. Last jump creek all the time. Yeah, but running water is always fresh, so we drink the running water if we have to. We jump in there, like all the rest. We were kids. We were real kids. These days, who'd be game enough to say to their kids, go out and come back when the street lights are on? You'd be worried about some white van.
Yeah.
They get sold for $25 for human trafficking or something like that.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I'd feel comfortable telling my 12-year-old son to go do that.
Like, I've got my little bloke at home now, and his big brother's asleep, but with him. We're lucky we're in the estate down where I live, Bottles Bay. There's the estate, and a lot of his schoolmates are there, so there's a group of them together. But, it's always, mate, if that sun's going down, you get home, you're not riding at night, because you see cars coming around through the estate all the time, and you go...
But there was nothing to track you then either.
Oh, no, nothing at all.
Like, if, at least now you could give them a smartwatch or a device where you could track them so you know where they are. There was none of that.
No.
It used to just be, especially on the weekend, all right, I'm going out, I'll be back when the lights come back.
Yeah. Or the phone tree. My mum would ring my mate's mum. No, they're not here. Who'd ring the next mate's mum. Oh, they're in the pool at the back.
Yeah.
Like we had phone trees. There was none of this, If you wanted to make a phone call, you had to get on your bike and get to a phone box, quickly dial 1100. Yeah, there's a fault with this phone. Put me through. And they put you through for 3 seconds. Oh, come pick me up. I'm at.
Yeah, we used to do 1-800 reverse.
1-800 reverse. Well, we didn't have reverse.
It's taking pick me up from skate park.
Yeah. But you used to have to ring faults.
Right.
And say it was a faulty phone, because most of them were, and then they put you through.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But similar sort of process. Now all phones are free.
Yeah, all Telstra phones are free.
But none of them get vandalised anymore.
Yeah, true.
Take the money away.
It's free.
Yeah. But no point.
No.
Like I take my little bloke around the corner now, every year, and up in the phone box, you can ring Santa, 1-800 Santa. And
really?
You talk to Santa and give him your Christmas list. Yeah, it's a Telstra service. Yeah.
No way. So there's some unfold sitting there just collecting Santa phone calls.
Yeah, no worries. No problem. Yeah, you just if they put the advertisement up, 1-800 Santa. Yeah, you can ring Santa.
I didn't know that.
I think it's fantastic because kids, like
it's a good idea.
But the same principle, like who'd be game enough to put on a Santa suit these days?
Well, I don't see why not.
Yeah. First, you got to make sure you got a criminal record check. You got to have working with
That's
children
fair.
check. That's fair. But then, okay, no, you can't sit there, or no, you can't be that close to the Santa. Like where does Santa's hand go? It's got to be up here. It can't be down anywhere there.
Yeah.
Scrutinize. Go to Westfield, mate, for Santa photos.
Really?
It'll take them 15 minutes to set up for a Santa photo. That's why there's always a big queue, because they're making sure Santa can't be scrutinised.
So that's why they always have seats next door now.
So the kids can sit down. There's no sitting on Santa's lap anymore.
Well, I sat on Santa's lap last time at the Dudley Beach, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, we used to get a Santa with the dog. So there's some.
That's what we did. Yeah.
No,
it was Redhead Beach.
Yeah, we went down to Wanji. At the back of the club. Yeah. Just private thing. They've got a Santa and a woman photographer that she did all the pictures. They're great, like and behind the trees and all that. Very personal experience. But the dog was there the whole time. He's ribbon on that, And
that's brilliant. Maybe I'm gonna be a Santa this year.
Yeah.
Ginger Santa.
Ginger Santa. Let's get in there.
Yeah.
So so I grew up there. I started. Well, I was 15. I was at school. And then I moved in with my dad for a little while up at Asquith. And it came winter time and he couldn't work anymore because of the injuries, the arthritis and the pain. And I remember we paid rent, we paid the bills, and we had $2 left for the fortnight.
Okay.
And we hadn't had any food yet.
He was a butcher. He was a
butcher.
butcher.
He couldn't work. It wasn't working.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We weren't settling. So off to Department of Social Security, begging for food vouchers. No smokes, no alcohol, that sort of stuff. So he gave up smoking there for a while, and then he had a mate next to him was giving him tobacco. But we'd go up and we'd beg for food vouchers, and then he'd go and shop everything frozen that you could get, with chest freezer, fill up the freezer with chest, but there was no money to buy a chocolate or nothing like that.
True. Yeah.
We used to have to keep $2 in coin, always. So 20-cent pieces, so I could ring my mum. So I used to have to go. We had no phone. The phone was disconnected, so I did walk out up the road to the phone box, and I'd ring my mum each night from the phone box, tell her, what was going on.
Yeah.
So I made a decision. I was in year 9. I'd moved from Coringai High over to Asquith Boys High, and I left.
What year?
Year 9.
Year 9.
I was old enough to work then. I just reached the age of 14 and 9 months.
Yeah.
So as soon as I hit that mark, I went in, I handed all my books back, I signed out. I walked down the road to Coles at Asquith, walked in, said to the manager there, said, I need a job. And he said, what experience you got? I said, none. So if you give me a go, I'll have a go. He said,
what experience you got at 14?
Yes. He said, the only thing we've got is in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I said, mate, I'll take it, because we had no money. And so I got a job in the frozen section.
Yeah, cool.
And I'd get in there first thing in the morning, you'd put the big jacket on, gloves and all that, and just be packing in the back of the freezer, packing all the freezers ready.
Where was that?
Asquith.
No, the shop?
Coles.
Was it Coles then?
Yeah.
Was it? I didn't know if Coles was around. I thought it was
Sydney, but Coles opened in Sydney. There weren't very many Bilos in Sydney. There was Bilo up here. Yeah, and Woolworths used to be Safeway.
Safeway,
yeah,
that's right.
So, but a lot of Sydney stores just opened Coles straight away.
Okay, yeah.
So, so I did that for a little while. I basically worked there for the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It was for nothing. But you got the staff discounts, so I could get, a little bit off our grocery bill.
What was your hourly rate?
Oh, mate, I couldn't even tell you. $7 or something like that.
Yeah, wow.
I know when I started my apprenticeship as a butcher, I was getting $88 a week.
Yep. That makes sense.
Before tax. That was for a 40-hour week.
That's when $1 would go a long way back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you go down the street and you get a bag of lollies for $1, or a bag of chips, and it'd be a bag wrapped up of chips,
bag,
newspaper and that. You get 6 scallops for 30 cents, 5 cents each.
Yeah.
Potato scallops and a bit of vinegar on them in winter.
Well, I remember going to when we were 15, 16, going to the skate park.
Yeah.
We would get a $2 chips and it'd be this big.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You used to just pinch change it amongst purse.
Oh, yeah, that's it, And then, I worked at that winter, basically. But I wanted to get I'd been offered so father went back to work for a bloke he'd worked for years before. And this guy said, look, if you get your school certificate, because it just when TAFE had changed, you couldn't get into TAFE without at least a school certificate or a ROSA, what they call it now. So he said, if you go back and get your school certificate, I'll give you a job. I'll give you an apprenticeship. So I moved back we both moved back. This was the transition. I must have been 15 when So we both moved back for a little while. And I went back to school to do my year 10.
Yeah.
So I got my school certificate. The day after I got my school certificate, they wanted me to go into year 11 and 12. But I went back into intermediate maths and subjects I didn't want to do, but they said, I got in 3 days before the electives had to be submitted for year 10. And they said, you'll probably struggle if you went into advanced maths, because I'd always done advanced maths.
Yeah.
And they said, you'll probably struggle because this far into the year, it was like March or April, into the year already, and I'm enrolling. So I said, I'll put you in intermediate basic English or, what was it, English, standard English or something like that. So I got my school certificate. And then they said, after I got that, this is how some people, their perception of what your abilities are. The one person tells you can't do something and you believe them. So the year mistress said, no, you never get through those subjects. So I was bored out of my brain doing intermediate maths. I'd finish it and I'd just be sitting there doing nothing. And we had one teacher for a double period each week. So it was 40-minute periods. He'd have us for a double each week. While the year mistress, our maths teacher, she was the year mistress for year 12. So she'd have to do year 12 duties once a week for end of year. So he'd take us, a relief teacher. Mr. Pentecost was his name. Brilliant bloke. He was a welder by trade, and he got flash from welding, and you couldn't work in the classroom. So whenever we had him, he'd have to take us outside because of fluorescent lights flickering and make him have
seizures.
Oh, not seizures, but massive headaches, migraines. So we'd have to go outside, or we'd be in the classroom if it was raining outside with no lights on. So you're basically working in the dark, no mobile phones. But he said, look, I was asleep at my desk. He come up back then, he goes, whack, hits me on the back of the head to wake me up, because that's how they wake me up back those days.
Yeah. Inside the canes back
then. Yeah. Oh, is it?
No.
Plenty of cane. Yeah. But he hit me that hard and my head's bounced, bang like this, and I'm woken up. Oh, what'd you do that for? He goes, mate, you're asleep. Like this, full on sleep. And he goes, do your work. So, mate, I've done. And he goes, what do you mean you've done it? Like this, I've done that. And I said, I did the next unit, chapter as well. And he goes, well, we're not on the next chapter. So, mate, I had to do something, And so he actually he gave me an advanced book. And so the 2 periods I had per week with him, I was doing intermediate all the rest of the week. I was doing advanced with him for those 2 periods, working through an advanced book. So at the end of the year, where they said I'd struggle in the subject, so I got top 3% in the state.
Nice.
In intermediate, top 7% in advanced.
Oh, wow.
Because I sat both exams. But the only one I could have on my school certificate was the intermediate, because that was part of the electives that were presented in the curriculum.
Right.
So I never put on my school certificate. So. But so when they wanted the electives for year 11 and 12, I wanted to be a vet.
Yeah, cool, man.
That's all I wanted to do, be a vet.
Loved animals?
Yeah. Well, I got an apprenticeship as a butcher, so alive or dead, I wanted to cut up animals. And I knew about animals. My old man was a butcher. I knew the anatomy of an animal. I thought, loved animals. So, and wanted to do good for them. Hated animal cruelty. So I put in my electives. I wanted to do 1 and 2 unit maths, I wanted to do chemistry and biology.
Mm.
You had to do to get into med science to be accepted. And I wanted to do another advanced subject. And they said, no, you can't do it. You'll struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get through the work. This is before they'd even got an exam result for what I'd achieved during that year, because the electives go in earlier than that based on your half-yearly report. So they wouldn't let me do it. They wouldn't let me put the electives in. So she came to me at the end of the year once she got my results back, said, oh, look, we'll go and we'll put an appeal in to see if we can get those electives. Oh, look, I've already arranged an apprenticeship, which I had.
Yeah.
We were going on a cruise for 10 days. And when I came back, I was starting my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to let him down. And I just thought, well, look, you reckon I couldn't do it? I'll just go do this. So I started my apprenticeship as a butcher.
Cool. And how many did you finish it?
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Well, I actually did 6 years because I ended up working with my father in a shop. And when you work with a family member in a two-man shop, you've got a butcher and an apprentice, you can get an exclusion from TAFE. So you don't have to attend TAFE once a week. Little beknownst to me, I got that exclusion because I couldn't be out of the shop for that one day. It was a nightmare. I got the exclusion, but unbeknownst to me, you don't get an official trade certificate because your trade certificate comes generated out of your TAFE results. So I never got my trade certificate.
Right, so you need to finish TAFE to get the trade certificate, right? And
I wasn't attending TAFE because I couldn't be out of the shop. These days, what they do is with private RTOs, you do it in blocks. So you can go and just do a week solid. You don't go 1 day a week. Because I was going to East Sydney TAFE and like down the back of Darlinghurst on every Tuesday. So catch training, walk down through the cross. That was an interesting walk, especially 6:30 on a Tuesday morning. Particularly if there was a American warship or something. Because all the girls would be out there airing themselves because they'd been all night. The 700 sailors were in town.
Right.
All the girls of the night had been out there, earning their wares. So, but yeah, I'd walk through there all the time. We'd go to TAFE. I was 15 at lunch. We used to do.
Yeah, but how come? Sorry, to go back. But how come you didn't finish TAFE? Because you had to work.
Because I was out the 1 day a week. The problem is, if you wanted to, if you needed to go for a leak or something like that, you'd have to close the whole shop up.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't have it open. People just come in and take whatever they like. So it was a logistical nightmare because there's only me in the shop.
Yeah, but on the days you had TAFE, couldn't the owner of the butcher come in and do a shift?
Yeah. Well, probably. Yeah. But it was too difficult. It was a company, so they had various shops. I don't know why they just didn't work it out that if this apprentice was at TAFE that day, send the other apprentice to the shop to relieve. But it just never happened that way. It was always a case of, because they were all around Sydney, the shops were all around Sydney, it was probably a logistical nightmare. They just said, oh, just don't worry about it. It doesn't have to go to TAFE, we won't make it.
Well, yeah, had to go to TAFE to get you signed off, didn't you? You're the one that ends up losing.
Exactly right. And no one told you that.
So that's just shit ownership, the half on the loss.
Yeah. So these days it's not so bad because you can go through, my qualifications, my skills and so forth. And all you had to do was apply, and if you could prove that you could do the work, they'd sign off on it.
Yeah, but I think you can do that still now.
Lump of money.
So if you're been concreting, for example, for like 10 years, but you haven't got a concreter's trade, they send out an assessor to sign you off. I quote me if I'm wrong there, but I think that's still a thing.
Yeah. Scotty Caird off the block was advertising it.
Right,
quite some time. My upskilling or my skills.
All right, so let's roll on into your 20s.
Yep.
So you've done your 6 years at the butchers.
Yep.
Yep. So that brings you up to what? You were 15 when you started that one?
Yeah, so I was about 21.
21.
21, 22 when I was finishing.
Yeah, so what was the 20s like?
Oh, mate, wild.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, you could get away with anything. Like, we were drinking.
It was the 80s, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 80s. I left school in 85, so, so it was 80s into 90s.
90s, yeah.
Paper licenses, no photo IDs, anything like that. So
no EFTPOS cards?
No EFTPOS cards. Yeah. Easy enough to get a fake ID.
Yeah.
Really easy.
I can imagine.
So when I was going to TAFE, what they used to do was, at butchering trade, they used to run theory in the morning and practical in the afternoon. You used to go to TAFE in the morning, basically sleep in through theory, Then go to the pub, have a few beers, go back and do your practical in the afternoon. And after a few fingers went missing, they reversed it. You do your practical in the morning, then do it in the afternoon. Have a few beers, fall asleep in theory, no harm, no foul. So, but yeah, look, I was 15, 16, and I was drinking up the cross.
Yeah.
You know.
How much was the schooner back then?
Oh,
50 cents, something like that. 25 cents.
Yeah, maybe, you know. Oh, yeah, maybe 60, 70 cents.
You're looking at $8 to $10 now.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Even coffee's expensive. We paid $7.50 for coffee yesterday.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's unreal, you know. But, you know, look, you'd have, maybe 2 to 6 and then go back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was, like, I always had to be responsible because I work 6 days a week. So Friday nights for me, if I was butchering at the time, Friday nights I wouldn't really go out. But Saturday night was huge.
Yeah. At 16?
16.
Yeah.
And you could go anywhere. It wasn't a case of, like, you'd be going with your mates, but, you know, you'd bump shoulders with someone. Oh, sorry, mate, you know, I'll buy you a beer. There was no violence.
Yeah, so it was a lot more chilled, laid back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, I remember I was down in Narrowland at a pub down there, the Sands Hotel down there. And they had the radiators there. And we were sitting up on top of the speakers. You couldn't move in this place. And the only way you could get a drink was you'd pass money. You'd send it to the bar.
Oh, like a change?
Yeah, and your drink and come back with your change.
No way.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to do that now. You'd get an empty cup.
You can hand a $50 note and guarantee, mate, your drink would come back and all your change would be on the tray with it.
Wow.
It was just that sort of a culture.
Yeah.
You know, and it was always, you know, like an us versus them. So, you know, you get all blokes that, you know, fair skin or, you know, whatever, and we'd all hang out together, and then you'd get the groups that would come, they'd stay in Bankstown, the Lebanese, you know, like there was never this mix of groups. Like
mixing cultures,
There was multiculturalism, but it was all separated.
Yeah.
Now you've got this big bucket of, you know, racism and, you know, like...
Well, that's what happens when you mix cultures together.
Yeah. And when you've got generations coming through that won't accept that change, you've got...
What do you mean, generations won't accept the change?
Well, like over in, I know, Auburn, of all places, you could go down St John Road in Auburn and there'd be nothing but Westies.
What are the Westies?
Westies, like, mullets. But this is back in the 70s. Mullets, V8 Fords, you know, like the typical, you know, like bogan.
Bogans, right. It's the Australian bogan.
The Australian bogan. I remember, so my auntie had 7 kids, 5 boys, and the 3 older boys, there was a Chinese couple that bought a house in St John Road, and they just went down there and did burnouts all night till they sold. No, we're not going to have Chinese. Back then they used to call them zipper heads.
Yeah.
We're not going to have zipper heads in our street. So they just run them out of town. That's how different it was.
Yeah.
But you go over the other side of Auburn and it was getting populated with Lebanese.
So what was that in the... So Lebanese was quite populated in the 80s?
70s and 80s. Yeah, because you had a lot of unrest over there and they were basically fleeing war zones. And this country was the best country to be, where they could, you know, like, they could come to Australia with their trades that they knew from Lebanon and actively work and provide for their families. So
I was interested the other day. I was seeing a video. It's in Sydney. There's places in Sydney that are so Islamic.
Yes.
That people like you and I and Amanda couldn't walk through.
No way.
You get attacked, abused, assaulted.
I'd probably be all right because I've got a little bit of olive skin and darker hair. But Amanda couldn't walk through without being covered completely. No way in the world. No way in the world. Yeah.
That blew me away because I didn't think Australia was that bad.
Yes. Oh, yeah. There's areas. There's places up at like Carrington, Newcastle, and there's just unit blocks full of Sudanese refugees.
Yeah, right. I have noticed there's been a lot more immigration here in Newcastle.
Yeah. because we've accepted them as refugees, and we're housing them. The big problem down in Melbourne during COVID.
Yes.
That was Sudanese refugees.
And a lot of machetes attacks as well as Sudanese lads.
Yeah, because that's what they were used to over there.
Well, this is what happens when you bring multiculturals into, if a country's got multiculturals and the country itself has another culture.
Yes.
And then they bring their upbringings here, and they bring their upbringings, and then it's just conflict.
Yeah, exactly.
And then people wonder why there's racism.
Yeah.
Well, you created it.
Yeah. And me, I'll walk down the street and I'll treat that person, whether they're blue, black, green, whatever, exactly how they treat me.
Yeah.
So if they disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect them.
Yeah.
They show me courtesy and respect, that's exactly what I'll get in return. So, but not everybody's like that.
I don't care what race or what religion you have, just come here and do the culture that's here. Not pushing your crap onto us.
Yeah,
expect us to change our way of life for yours. You left your country for a reason.
Yeah.
So don't bring your country's culture here and it has to be, you have to do this.
Yeah.
No.
Well, years ago, when I was still an apprentice, there was an opportunity in Japan to go over there and teach Japanese how to butcher Wagyu beef.
Okay, yeah.
Because Wagyu beef wasn't even heard of back then. So they wanted people to teach them how to and do it
good.
really well because it's so valuable. And Qantas you'd fly over there with Qantas. It was about $3,500–4,000 to fly you to Japan there.
Wow.
You got accommodated with a family of the organisation that you're working with. So you had to work 5 days a week. 1 day a week you had to do cultural studies and go to temple.
Okay.
Now, once a month, they take you aside and they assess you.
Who's they?
The company.
Yeah.
Would assess you on your cultural knowledge.
Yeah.
And religion.
Yeah, because the Japanese are quite stern on their culture, aren't they?
Now, if you didn't meet up to those standards, you would be terminated immediately.
Yeah.
And you'd have find your own way home.
Yeah.
So you'd have to try and book a $4,000 course. And then, mate, they were paying really well for it, but still not $4,000.
No. But you'd go there and you respect the culture.
Yes.
And respect the Japanese.
Or you'd get ejected.
Yeah. Which is how it should be.
We've never had that.
No.
No one's ever come here and said, okay, look, you have to speak. We speak English. You have to be able to speak English. You have to be able to, ask for something in English.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, over the years I've had people just pointing at stuff like this. And I'll go like that, don't you? And I won't serve them when I've worked in shops.
No.
So you ask for it.
Yeah.
I just pointed. Nothing rude and someone pointing and stuff, but it just doesn't work. Always, yeah. So went through that. The 80s, 90s, bit of a blur. A lot of nightclubbing, a lot of drinking, partying, but good party, safe party. I've always said it. It's like I played around a bit with a bit of weed. Not good for me. A huge paranoia on weed, but you could go and see a reputable drug dealer then.
Yeah. So I was going to say, what was the drug choice back in the 80s and 90s?
Oh, it's pot.
Pot.
Yeah. If you're in the scene where you're in town a lot, Darlinghurst and that, it was coke.
Yeah.
Then, no such thing as ice.
Yeah, I was going to say no ice,
no crystal meth, nothing like that. It was just basically coke, and heroin was the big drug that, people were heavily addicted to. They were the three.
Yeah.
But smoke, a few cones, just take the edge off and then go out, so it didn't cost you as much drinking.
Yeah.
But I remember walking out in my peak, I walked out one night and we weren't paying $10 a schooner. I walked out with $600 in my pocket and walked home broke. And I drunk myself sober 2 or 3 times. Like I'd really just drunk. Like we were big drinkers, but not violent, happy drunks. Always, dancing their asses off. We were more interested in girls than we were about punching on.
Yeah.
We never went out for that. There's big things between, rival rugby clubs and that, like at schools. Particularly, where I was, public schools and private schools. So you'd have Knox, which private school, want to take on Ku-ring-gai High. You know, they arrange it at a local park and everybody would turn up and be maybe 150 people punching on till the cops got there. You know, but it all be on the field.
Public.
Yeah, private versus public. You know, someone's had a go at someone up the train station, and then it's escalated to the stage where everybody knew about it, and you'd have everybody out of the year on this paddock, and then it was settled there. Cops would turn up, everybody go home, and that was done.
Yeah, well, it used to be Toronto versus Morrison.
Yeah, same things. Yeah. You know, you'd meet at the park, you know, but these days, you know, you meet at the park, everybody's turning up with chains, you know, knives, and, you know, guns, that sort of shit. So you just can't do it.
It used to, like, if someone had a problem too, it used to just be one-on-one.
Yes.
And then you used to have your mates stopping everyone else jumping in.
Yeah. Mates circles.
It's kind of like if your mate's losing, everyone jumps in.
Yeah. And everybody else has got a phone, video.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, fight. It used to be always fight. But even if it wasn't your mate, say it was a bloke you didn't like and your mate was fighting him, if he'd had enough, you'd step in and you'd get your mate and say, mate, come on, he's had enough. That was it. Yeah. The fight's over.
And then it's done.
None of this kicking down on the ground, kicking his
And then usually you shake hands afterwards.
You know, like you next week you'd be in the pub.
Yeah.
And you'd be having a beer together.
Yeah.
You know, oh, mate, good fight, you know, I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was all done. None of this vindictive or, you know, like Facebook fights. There's 1,000 people turning up for fights. You know, 500 on this side, 500 on that side, and everybody's got weapons and no one knows.
Well, it's like the King hit thing too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't even remember that being a thing when I was a teenager, you know?
Never.
You never used to have to worry about getting punched in the back of the head.
No, never dog hit.
Nor did you do it.
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
Never at all. But there was a code.
Yeah, like there was stomping on heads that I've been a part of, and I've also had my head stomped on too. Yeah. So I guess that's karma.
Yeah.
But yeah, it used to just be very much, right, I don't like you, you don't like me, we're going to fight, we'll meet down the skate park, or we'll meet down the oval at the school. Yeah. And it used to just happen, and then that was it.
Yeah, well, those sorts of behaviours, like the stomping and that, we always we would have a time when we use those, but it was always for a real blowfly. So someone had done something really bad. You know, like they've, you know,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous. But like it might have been a case there was a party and a girl said no, and they've taken it too far. That bloke got his head stopped. Yeah, because that's a dog act, so you get the dog treatment. But other than that, no, it was always, you know, like okay, two blokes shaping up. Yeah. Once it's over, it's over.
All right. So in your 20s, you've finished butchering.
Yep. So
what did you do after that?
Well, I left butchering. Mate, 4:30 starts, you know, like working on hard concrete. I thought I'd go do something else. And I finished up with a job. And back then it was Department of Social Security. I looked at this ad, because there used to be job ads on cards, and I took this card off, and it was a pool shop in St Ives. And it was 4 days a week, part-time, 4 days a week, and 1 day on the weekend. It was start at 12 o'clock, finish at 5. I thought, that's great. In the morning, I can go do a bit of fishing, go work in the afternoon, 1 day on the weekend, I still do a day. So I walked in, I got an interview. They rung up from the office, rung the owner, said, I'm setting this candidate down for you. So I jumped on a train, bus, went out to St Ives, and I rocked up and said to the bloke said to me, he goes, oh, so what do you know about pools? I said, absolutely nothing. I said, my dad, we had a 10-foot round pool in the backyard, 15-foot round pool. He used to mix some chemicals in this thing and say, okay, you can jump in, throw, you know, like a handful of powder in there every now and then. That's all I know about a pool. And they're wet and you can swim in it. I said, but look, if you teach me, I'll learn. So he said, I'll let you know in a couple of days. That afternoon he rang me, he said, I'll give you a start. So I started there, went through a course, pool chemical engineering, they called it, through BioGuard. Back then, they were the big company. So I worked out how to test chemicals, what the chemicals did. And he said one of the best things that I've ever heard someone say to me. He said, when someone walks into a pool shop, even if you know nothing about a swimming pool, you know 95% more than they do.
Okay.
Just by looking around, seeing there's chemicals on the wall, and you can bluff your way through it.
Yeah, right.
And so I did. I went my way through it. I was there about 3 months, and he decided he was going to open another store at Thornley, huge traffic area, and Wesley had the biggest concentration of backyard swimming pools in Sydney at that time. So he's got put right in the middle on the main drag, Pin Mills Road, in Thornley. So he opened up that store, and I went up there to run it for him after 3 months.
Awesome.
Was with him for about 18 months. He'd had a marriage split up, and his ex-partner's brother owned a percentage of the company, and there was all sorts of dramas about who was going to get what. So I don't have any part of this. And I went to work for another company, and then an opportunity came up to franchise a store. So I bought a franchise.
Nice.
So that was at North Narrabeen,
Yep.
right on the beach.
Yeah.
So the front door was Pittwater Road, the back door opened up, shutter door opened, and there was a road, and then you were on Narrabeen Beach. And I thought, this is
cool.
My life.
Yeah.
So I had that for about 3 years. I'd met at St Ives with the other bloke. I'd met a hairdresser, a couple of doors up. We went out for a little while, fell in love. So we were together at that point.
Yeah.
We had my older 2 kids. Then she decided we were going to get married. I found out
she decided.
Yeah, she decided. I didn't really. We'd had kids, you know. Yeah. We were always living with her sister and flatmates.
Yeah.
Like we were downstairs and they were upstairs, but shared kitchen. Big culture of always drinking. All weekend, everybody be around at our place and everybody be drinking.
Seems to be the whole Australian culture, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
on drink.
And go to work, do 8 hours, stop off at the pub, have a few beers with mates, go home, you know. Like,
it's still very much the culture.
Oh, yeah. And there's a place, unfortunately, that the culture is, you know, like have 8 or 9 beers, go home. Oh, where's me dinner? I don't want that. Whack, 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 whack.
Yeah.
You know, domestic violence has increased so bad because of...
Well, the alcohol plays a lot into it, yeah, absolutely.
You know, so, so we end up getting married. I didn't find this out until we'd split up, and years later, she's walking down the aisle and she said to her dad, I don't think I really want to marry you. At our wedding.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was doomed for disaster.
Yeah, obviously.
The marriage, we'd been together about 6 years, and the marriage lasted 15 months.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, then she took off. During this time, my pool shop, I was working incredible hours. She had an intestinal problem, Crohn's disease, a condition where, you know, parts of the bowel and that are obstructed.
Yep.
So I was going down to work at 5 a.m. At one stage, I had 23 blokes working for me. So all I'm doing is all day driving around and trying to fix their fuck-ups.
Yeah, right.
Or, you know, making sure everything was done properly. Because
we're managing 23 people, yeah.
So,
big job.
You know, I go to one place and the woman says, oh, you better check your bloke there. I think he's drunk. And this bloke's as drunk as a skunk. He's driving around one of my work trucks. Smashed. So I've dismissed him on the spot. I've had to get my truck towed back to the store, you know. Then I'm one person down.
Yeah.
So then it's getting towed back to the store because I had a business partner. It's gone back there. He's taken that. And I'm at the job that he was doing his work. And I've got a million other things to do. So I'm getting home at 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, still putting in the 12, 14 nowadays.
12, 14, something, you've got it. That's where the money is. I get home. She's had a bad day. So I then cook dinner for the kids. Mm-hmm. Bathe them, put them to bed.
Yeah.
I had a second job, throwing newspapers at night.
Yeah, right.
Wrapping and rolling and throwing newspapers. That was a cash money job. Yeah. So, you know, like it was good dollars. So I was doing that as well, 3-4 nights a week. No matter how much money I could bring into the house, she could spend it. What happened then was we started fighting. I was never there, you know, like this. She'd be crook Monday to Thursday. Come Thursday, she'd start coming good. One of her friends would ring on Friday, so we're going out. And she'd go out drink all Friday night. Yeah. She'd come home, be absolutely pasted. That's right off for Saturday. Sunday, she'd start getting crook again. Monday, she'd be crook as a dog.
Well, that should be drinking with Crohn's disease, should you?
No. Look, she'd go, can I go out? tonight. Are you sure you're up to it? Oh, yeah, Kathy's going to look after me. And I knew that if she went out and she come back home, that I was going to get sex. So she'd go out. Knock yourself out, get as pasted as you like. Because it was the one night of the week where you'd have a chance that, anything was going to happen. Other than that, it was never on. So it just doesn't last like that. I'm getting up earlier in the morning, going to work earlier to get more done, so I can get home earlier to get the kids organised. So yeah, look, it just all fell apart. We were living in a place in Hornsby, and it all erupted. I was holding my daughter. She grabbed a saucepan and hit me in the head with it. I rang the cops. They came around. She went to her sister's place. I had my daughter with me still, and she'd taken my son because he was only about 6 months old then. And then, the next day she said, I need Kayla with me. I've got to have her. I'm very upset and all the rest. And I didn't know. Her mum used to work at the police station as a general assistant. Mm-hmm. Her mum had spoken to some of her colleagues and said, whoever's got the kids at the time of separation has custody until family law court.
Whoever's got the kids at the time
of separation has custody until such times as family law court orders are made. She'd known this. Say, I need Kayla with me. I can't think and all this. Because all this, I'll come over and talk to you later on today. So, her sister come, picked up Kayla, took her back the next minute that afternoon. I don't know where she is. Mobile phones were a thing then. Mm-hmm. I'm calling, texting, no response. There's been 2 coppers knock on the door. Said, Mr. Grant, I need you to step aside. And they handcuffed me on my hallway, and she came in and took everything that she could grab. Including all the Christmas presents under the Christmas tree and the 2 for the dog. Took $7,000 cash out of a drawer.
And they allowed this?
Oh, they allowed it. Yeah, I was tough because they got back and said that I'd acted violently. Because we'd both been drinking. She hit me. I rang the cops. Yeah. So I didn't retaliate. And I got the ABA placed on me.
Even though you rang the cops?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit weird.
So she'd left, hit a low point then. Her father, back in 91, we had a huge storm went through Sydney, level all the areas around where I lived, leveled all the trees, like a mini cyclone. Mm. I thought, all these people are out there volunteering, helping out. I thought, look, I'll give that a go. I saw SES, but there's like 6 blokes jumped out of a ute, and they're all starting up chainsaws, and they're as close as you and me to each other. I was like, no, that can't be safe. Mm. When I met Leanne, the first wife, her father was a deputy captain in the Rural Fire Service, or back then the New South Wales Bush Fire Service. So I went up to a couple of meetings with him and, a couple of training events and all the rest. So look, how do I join? So I joined the
All right, so just
Bush Fire Service.
What happened to the pool shop?
Pool shop, I had to walk away from.
Is that after
close the doors?
The split?
Just before the split. That's probably the reason why the split eventually happened.
Right. So you
because the money stopped. No, couldn't.
Couldn't. You just got to get.
Just didn't have time. I had contact dermatitis come up.
Right.
And I'd been for the previous guy that I was working with. I was painting the swimming pools for it because you used to be able to paint the swimming pool with epoxy paint.
The chemicals.
And the epoxy built up in my system. I got epoxy poisoning. So anything that had epoxy in it or anything like it, even silicones on my skin, I'll get contact dermatitis. Yeah. It got to the stage where I grabbed the steering wheel and all my knuckles had burst open.
Yeah, the chemicals back then were so much worse, weren't they?
No gloves, nothing.
No gloves, no PPE, no safety.
None of that,
All right, so you separated from the whole business, the split happened, and then now you're going into the fire brigade, yeah?
Oh, yeah, well, just volunteering. I was in the fire brigade while we were together.
Yeah.
And I was active the whole time in that. Then the split ended up happening. She went to her sister's, but then she had to get somewhere where she could actually live.
Yeah.
So she moved to Corumbau.
Okay, yep.
Her mum's place. She decided she was going to go up there, so I hired a truck. I got one of my mates. We loaded everything out of the house into the truck that we owned because there's flatmates. Loaded everything in there. I left the truck parked out front of the house with the key strategically placed. Her stepfather came, picked up the truck, took it all up to Corumbau. I drove the car up to Morisset Station, left it at the station. She had a spare set of keys, and I locked my set of keys in there, and I caught the train back down to Hornsby. So I gave her everything. I kept a foam mattress, a black and white TV, and the Christmas tree and 2 dogs' presents. And I had the dogs that I had to get put down because she didn't want them. So, so she was living up there. Her mum got sick of her, so she had to get her own place, and she moved into a place at Morisset, down behind the high school. I was still living at a place in Hornsby. I was working at a pool shop just up the road a few days a week and settling payments and trying to round everything off to try and get out of there because I was going to move back to my mum's. I had no alternative. I couldn't afford it. So, and that's where what I was saying before, I was walking to work.
Yeah.
Longer at Hornsby because I had no car. I'd given it to her.
So you pretty much given everything away.
Everything. Yeah. Well, that was my kids.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want my kids' stuff. I wanted my kids to have all the stuff. So, that was 8 days before Christmas.
Wow.
In all that kerfuffle. So the only way I saw my kids at Christmas was at Hornsby Police Station. In a visitation room with a copper standing there, and I got to see him for 45 minutes for Christmas. Wasn't allowed to touch them at all. Wasn't allowed to give them a hug or kiss for Christmas at all because the copper had just walked straight over and said, can't touch it.
Yeah, I think it's way too much.
So then the fights began, obviously. I was talking to her. I want to see the kids. I want to see the kids. I'd cleared super. By that time, I qualified I could get it super because of financial hardship. So I cleared a summer super out of my super account. And I was hiring a car. I was driving up to Morisset. I'd grab her to take grocery shopping because I wanted to make sure the kids had something. I'd drive her back home and she'd go, you're going to stay for a meal? Yeah, okay. And she'd pour me a drink. Now, on my ABR, it says I couldn't be with anywhere near her or the kids within 12 hours of drinking any alcohol. And she's pouring me a drink. I'd had a couple of drinks, maybe 3 or 4. Couldn't drive back to Hornsby.
Yeah.
And I said, can I just sleep on the lounge? She said, you can't stay here. So I'd sleep in the car around the driveway, drive back every morning. And I was doing that for quite a few months. I finally had enough. I can't do this all the time. And I said to her, you got to make a decision. We are either going to get back together or we're not. One of my mates said, mate, you can't just sit around the house like this. You don't eat, you're not sleeping and all the rest. He said, come out, we're going out. And I met a girl. We were just talking, and it wasn't anything, pretty girl and all the rest, but there's no way in the world I want to have anything to do with that. But we got on it, we were dancing and all the rest, and she often drive me home. So why don't you come back to my place? And she lived over it near Park Lee. So I went back to her place, nothing happened, and we become really good friends. So I'd go over there and we just spend time together. She had problems with, she just split up with a bloke and all this, and become really good friends. And she introduced me to my second wife.
Yeah, cool.
So my second wife was with this Canadian bloke who was out here on a visa. He was going back to Canada. She was a bit distraught, devastated. I invited her out for dinner one night, and we went from there.
Yeah. And then you had 3 more kids?
3 more kids.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, with her. So we'd but we went and we were living out the back of Dudeside, Woodcroft over in Sydney. She was working in Parramatta. I was working at Westlea. So, we commute. But then the lease was running out on the house. But what I'd have to do, I was working with the old man then. And the only reason I was working with him is so I could get off early enough on a Friday to get on the expressway to go pick the kids up in time. Because the ex-wife wouldn't drive. Like, she could drive, but she kept getting doctor certificates, so she couldn't drop them anywhere. Yeah. So I'd have to drive up to Morisset from Sydney, pick them up on the Friday, and then they'd have to be back on the Sunday. Now, even back then, Friday afternoon, you'd have the Telstra flyers and everybody wanted to go away, so I'd be stuck on the expressway. Sunday, I had to have them back by 5 p.m. Now, I lived out the back of Sydney, down the back of Park Lane, Dudeside way. So I dropped them off at 5. I wouldn't get home until 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I had a 3:30 start on Monday mornings.
Yeah.
So and you build expressway like Heartbreak Hill, Mooney Bridge, there'd be broken down cars everywhere.
Yeah.
But not even like the traffic now, but still a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I was always exhausted. I'd be up 3:30. I'd go in on a Monday morning and bone 34 quarters of beef. By lunchtime Monday, I'd be out in the lunchroom, I'd be sleeping,
So you went back to being a butcher?
Yeah. Because it was the only way I could earn money and be flexible enough to be able to have more kids.
The only time, yeah.
And I was commuting. The lease was running out on the house, and I just said, no more. I'm not doing it anymore. Nicole's parents had sold their place out the back of Marsden Park and moved to Killipan Bay.
Nicole's just second.
That's second wife.
Yeah. And the second marriage was a lot more healthier.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Compared to the first.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Polar opposites.
Yeah.
Like where
actual love.
Yeah. And where the first wife was very selfish, Nicole was very, very compassionate, understanding, giving. We just decided we're not going to re-sign a lease down there. Her parents had bought the place at Killipan Bay. They had this huge shed out the back, like one of those ones you can drive a semi into. And we just decided, look, they had a room out the back that wasn't being used. We were going to move up there, put all that stuff in the shed, store it, and we moved in there. Nicole's mother and her were exactly alike. So there's no wonder what was going to last. The arguments. Her dad and I were exactly alike. So we'd sit there and just watch it. We'd make a scotch and coke, and they'd simmer down, and we'd walk in and go, oh, what about this? And you'd serve it up again. We used to call it verbal ping pong.
Yeah.
You'd serve it up, let them go at each other, make a drink, just sit there and listen to it all. Once it started simmering down, you go back in to get a drink and you'd re-serve it and let them go again.
Why would you do that?
Just entertainment.
You got entertainment from watching them argue?
Yeah. Just how stupid the argument was.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a heated argument or anything like that, but they'd be arguing about politics they had no idea about. And we'd just go, what are they going on about? And we'd be laughing there because all the family was like it. They all had that same sort of a trait, but Nicole and Mum was so similar. So that was very short-lived. Had no work. I was kicking around, helping him around. He was doing a little landscaping, and so I was helping around the yard. So I was always outside with him, never engaging with that. But Nicole's going, I can't do this anymore. So I got a job. It was World Festival of Magic. All I had to do was pick up the phone and ring businesses and get them to sponsor disabled kids to this Festival of Magic at the Civic Centre in Newcastle. So they'd buy a ticket and the carer went with them. We had all these tickets. So you had to go in there and cold call. And they said, how good are you on the phone? I said, well, look, who am I ringing? They said, just random. So look, I'll give it a go. Just started ringing numbers out of the phone book of businesses saying, like, we've got these kids, special needs. We need to get them to this Festival of Magic. Would you be willing to sponsor, a kid? Then I'd be saying, can you sponsor 2? Can you sponsor 5? And we used to have a guy who used to drive around picking up checks from companies for the tickets. That job was until the tickets went. They estimated about 6 months and we'd have the tickets. We were gone in 3. No more work. So the first week, they'd have this thing that you got $50 at the end of the week. And back then, I was only earning $21 an hour, $50 bonus, cash. It was a huge thing at the end of the week. Whoever got the most amount of tickets offloaded by cold calling got $50.
Yeah, right.
I missed the first week and every other week after that.
Yeah.
So I thought, look, if I can do that, I can do anything over the phone. So that was rounding off, saying, look, we've only got this amount of tickets left. We're not going to run the 6 months. Start looking for work now. I interviewed with a bloke. He was selling toner and ink cartridges over the phone to businesses, business to business. And he said, oh, yeah, I'll give you a go. You've had a bit of experience. Worked there for a couple of weeks, got the script down pat. He was going to let me go because I'd sold nothing. Everybody else had sold a little bit here or there. But he actually was we got on really well. But he was taking me out to lunch to sack me in a very nice way. Because we got on so well, he didn't want to do it in front of everybody. Yeah. Just before we went out to lunch, this order came through for 12 toners in Brisbane.
They had already called.
Yeah. And we used to send a fax to them with prices on it. They used to put down the quantities, fax it back to us. So he's about to sack me, and this order comes through. 12 toners, huge, compatible toners. If they bought 8, they got 2 tickets to the Goodwill Games up in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So we used to buy the tickets at next to nothing. And you'd get a secretary and say, look, if you buy 8 toners, we'll give you tickets to Robbie Williams. And we get the tickets for nothing, or Elton John, or Kylie Minogue, whatever concerts were going on. And we put that on the fax when we were sending it through. We had companies buying stuff and storing their cupboards under the stairs just to get tickets. So, that order came through. So he took me out to lunch. And, then I was just selling.
So you went into sales?
Yeah, sales. We were living out at, we had to get out of the place that we were at with the in-laws. And he said, look, find a place. He said, I'll rent it for you as part of my salary. So I found a place, beat up place out of Curry, and we were renting that. The company was paying for the rent, so I didn't have to come up with the rent. I was making really good money in commissions and that. And then he was running the business just over at Buchanan. So I'd get in the car and just drive from Curry to Buchanan, it was like a pool room out the back, but he converted it into an office with phone lines and that. Yeah, so we had 6 of us in there, ringing companies. I always had the desk right up in the corner. Don't go anywhere near Rod. No one was allowed to disturb me because I'd be on the phone constantly selling. And he moved to Grafton, but he still had a lease. So he said, give up the place at Curry, get it all cleaned up. He said, move in here. So we moved into Buchanan. That time Nicole was talking about, look, we should get married, we should have kids. And I said, look, you've got a choice. You can have kids or you can have a house. You can't have both. Because I'm paying 27.5% child support at that point.
27.5%.
That's for the 2 kids.
Crazy.
So they used to tax me, take tax out of my
I got a child support.
Then they put it back up to gross and take 27.5% off the gross again. So basically I was working 2 days for 1 day's pay. Because you'd be paying 22% in tax and you'd be paying 27.5% in child support.
So
I said to her, look, you can't.
Child support's screwed.
Oh, yeah.
It's so corrupt.
Yeah. But I said, look, if we were to get a mortgage, I can't do it. I can't have other kids.
Did she work?
Kids.
Did Nicole work?
She was working, yeah. But she was only working part-time. I was working a lot. I was really, and then he's in Grafton, I was basically running the business for him. I signed directorship for him as well. Biggest mistake I've ever made because he was an ex-gambler. And when he went to Grafton, he decided to punt the whole company's worth away in 3 weeks. So
he was good at it then.
Oh yeah, he was buying and selling houses in Grafton, so he always had money floating. But the problem was it was not cash. It was always tied up. The other bloke, the real estate in Grafton, he was the other person buying and selling. They were competing against each other at auctions and that for properties to try and do them up, flip them, make money. So that real estate invited him to the Grafton Cup. He had 1 bet and that was the end of it. Yeah. So there was all phone calls coming in to the secretary. She'd be on the phone going, John, I can't do that. Oh, don't worry. And he'd have couriers going and picking up checks from businesses for toners.
Yeah.
Like they had a 30-day account, but you get, if you pay early, I'll give you a 5% discount. So they'd write a check straight away for the 5% discount. You get in the bank and he'd write a check against it and cash it and punt it all away. So, but I'd sign paperwork. So we had all these toners coming in, I'm liable for them because he just disappeared.
Yeah, right. Well,
So through. So I'm on the bad. At that point in time, when I was working out there, I was very active in the fire brigade. We were on Buchanan Road and Mouth Park Station was just up the road, but I was 5 minutes that way to the station, 4 minutes to John Renshaw Drive. So I joined the local RFS, transferred up to there, and very active, very great group of people. It was family culture. like the captain and his wife and the 2 daughters were all in the fire brigade, and you'd have a barbecue and everybody's kids were there. It was a real community sort of, brigade, like the old bushfire brigade before it became the RFS. So I was very active in that. They estimate I attended about 6,000 to 7,000 incidents in the time I was in the service. A lot of those were on John Renshaw Drive, where I'd be just rocking out to John Renshaw Drive because I had a response vehicle. I'd go, get out there as quick as possible. I had the most advanced first aid training, all that sort of stuff. So I'd get out there with a casualty straight away. So I don't know how many times, I've told people, like, yeah, you're going to be all right. The ambulance will go all right. They're going to die in my arms.
Yeah, right.
CPR. I couldn't even fathom to tell you how many times I've done CPR on people.
Yeah, right.
Now, like, you'd be lucky if you were to start work at 15 and finish working at 70, and you're in an environment where they made you do first aid every 3 years, the chances of you actually doing CPR is probably about 0.5%.
Yeah, well, CPR changes too.
Yeah.
I did my first aid at the start of the year. And you got to do it every year now or something.
CPR, yeah, every year. Well, you don't. They never run
First
out.
aid I did.
Yeah, they never run out.
Yeah, but
it's a strong suggestion. And
each company wants it within 2 years, I think.
Yeah, they'll want it.
Same as you work in a heights confined space and all that crap.
Yeah. So, well, same as you got a white card. If you've got a white card, after 3 years, if you haven't used it on the site, it expires. But if you've used it at one site, it never expires. But no company will accept that.
White card lasts forever. I've got my same white card that I got when I started.
Yeah, but if they do an audit on it...
Construction card.
Yeah, construction card.
Yeah.
But if you haven't engaged in any activity that's actively used your white card within 3 years...
Like if you've been out of the industry for so long?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'd say so.
It's a 3-year lapse.
Right.
Yeah, so look, I'd spend a lot of time... you were talking about, on one of the episodes, about old mate out at the site, the forklift.
Yeah.
And the tourniquet. I've had that inside a person on the femoral artery, stopping the bleeding. There's only one way I could get in there, cut them open. So I saw a bubble of blood, like it was like a golf ball size bubble. And I knew his femoral artery had ruptured. Motorcyclist, he'd had an accident, got up, broken femur. So it's splinters.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang into the femoral artery, started bleeding internally. Once he realised he was in pain, he sat down. We're coming back from a fire, and I said to the other member, because I was the crew leader, I said to the other member, get on the radio, get us an ambulance, urgent, like this, like code 1. And I need a time. And they come back and said, they'll be here in 8-9 minutes. This bloke's going to be dead in 2.
Yeah.
So I grabbed
so
I grabbed a knife. I cut into his groin and I stuck my finger and thumb in there until I could read some pulsation. I grabbed his femoral artery until the ambulance got there. So over the years, some of those memories come back and get you.
Oh, yeah.
It was the 2001. So it was the 19th of October. So my birthday's the 18th. I had my family, who was still in Sydney, they'd come up. We had a swimming pool and everything. They're coming up for a barbecue for my birthday on the Saturday. And I went out to Green Hills just to pick up bread rolls for the barbecue. As I'm coming back past the station, I looked out over it near Curry, and it looked like a nuclear bomb had gone off. The smoke cloud. Hadn't seen one like that for years and years and years. So I ripped into the station, and I said to the captain, I said, mate, why aren't you out there? He said, what are you talking about? He said, Abernathy's up. I said, mate, Curry's up. He looked out the back, he's straight on the radio. I said, I've spotted this. I said, I'm going to go home, drop the car off. So I ripped in the driveway, threw the rolls at the coal, went around to the boot, got all my gear on. By that time, the truck was coming past. I jumped in the crew leader seat, the passenger seat, and we took off towards Curry. We got out there. It's... if you could say the most horrendous fire conditions, it wouldn't even describe it. So I got the page is going off as I'm getting dressed. It's 10:14 in the morning. We've got a 2 to 4% relative humidity. It's already 41 degrees, and the wind's coming from the northwest at 50 to 80 kilometres an hour.
Yeah. great for a torrential
This
fire.
is catastrophic. What they now classify as catastrophic.
Yeah.
There was no catastrophic back then. It was that came in after the big fires in Victoria and in Canberra. But we had extreme day. That was it. So I've got all the gear on. I jumped in the truck. We're out there with the first truck on scene. Get on fire control on scene. They said, okay, we're in a paddock, grass about this high, and there's these huge transformers for Alcan, what used to be this aluminium smelter out there, Alcan.
Yeah.
Any smoke in them, they're going to arc and have the potential to explode. They take out 4 city blocks. So we're just trying to keep the fire and the smoke away from them so they don't go up and try and steer it around. So fire control said, oh, look, you've got about 12 minutes in the fire. It's going to be on top of it. So I'm out 60 metres off the truck, 2 hose lengths. And I'm out putting out spot fires. Spot fires are spotting 7-8 kilometres ahead of the main fire.
Yeah.
Like just embers dropping in. And dry grass. 2001, we hadn't had rain for 12, 18 weeks or something.
Yeah.
In a row. The grass was just like lighting a match. And anywhere an ember hit, a fire, water. They're telling us 12 minutes was on top of us in 4. So flame height came through. They estimated about 40 to 50 foot flame height out of the bush. All you hear is it's like dozens of steam trains coming out of the bush, and that's the fire sucking every bit of oxygen it can to feed it. So I look back. Once it hits, the smoke hits, you can't see that in front of you.
Yeah.
So I look back for old mate.
He
was bowing out. He's gone. And I'm now surrounded by more spot fires than I can even look at. And I've got this main fire front coming through. And I'm stuck. And I'm in a lot of trouble. I can't see where I came from or where I'm going. All I did was I closed the branch, the hose, so it still stayed pressurised, and started
finding your way back.
Trying to find the truck.
Yeah.
You can't even see the flashing lights.
No, of course.
Got about 2/3 of the way out and dropped like a spud. Smoke inhalation.
You didn't have your
wet nappy
cylinder?
Mate.
Huh?
Wet nappy. We have wet nappies there.
Oh,
that's
right.
It's caber.
Yeah.
No, the only people that had breathing apparatus was New South Wales Fire, the Bushfire Brigade, Rural Fire Service.
So you collapsed?
Yeah, it collapsed. Lucky for me, and I still don't know to this day why they did it, because it was horrendously dangerous, but the crew had come down, 2 of the crew members had fired the hose down to me.
Yeah, awesome. Well done.
Now, I still to this day ask myself if I could have done it. Knowing my family was home, I would have. I know deep down.
They risked their lives to come and save yours.
Yeah. And it's always been a big thing that in the fire brigade, it's a term, we run into what everybody else is running away from.
Yeah, of course.
It's not about being a hero. It's just about looking after your mates.
Yeah.
Looking after your community and that sort of stuff. There's no hero in it. It's just about doing the right thing, And but in the training, doing the best that you can. Coming up, I'm coughing up my guts. I'm coughing up just pure black, jet black. I'm taking the nappy off, and then I'm throwing up, like everything in me. And then we got a call. So I jumped back in the truck, took off to the next spot. Yeah, and we just went 17 hours after that.
Yeah.
Went home, went back to the station, put the truck away, hung the hoses, washed the hoses, hung the hoses, went home. Went to bed. Next morning I got up, went to swim underwater in the pool. I used to be able to swim a length. It was like a backyard pool, but I used to be able to swim the whole length of the pool. Got about halfway and my lungs felt like they were on fire. I had to come up. I went and saw the doctor and said, you got smoke inhalation. You'll be all right.
Of course you would.
And thought nothing more of it. That was it. Nothing more. I then hit that point where the old boss decided to punt the business away. I was living then, we moved out of Buchanan. The guy that owned it, his son split up with his missus and he needed property for him. So he ended up, we got a new property down on the lake and he paid for transfer.
Who's this?
This was Dennis Wilton, the tires. But I was still in the business.
What business?
Company it used to be called officestationery.com. They're gone now. Selling tones.
Yeah.
So
right, yeah.
I had to move.
Sales job.
And I could work from anywhere. As long as I had a phone, I could work. Mobile phones were a thing then.
Yeah.
So I had a mobile phone. I could work from anywhere. So I could move anywhere. The kids were at YE at that time. They moved. She got a new partner. They moved in with him.
So this is after you've just experienced the fire?
Yeah, not long after. Yeah, all bellied up. So I moved down to Bonnells Bay.
Yeah.
Made the drive down there, and I was just working out of a room out of the back. It was only me and Nicole, no other kids at that point, only the two older ones that had come visiting the dog. So I was just working out of an office, like a room in the house as an office, sell. Then I got the call saying, don't sell anything else. We can't get stock. We're broke. We're more than broke. We're $120,000, $130,000 in the red. Don't sell another thing. So then the next day I jumped on the phone and I started ringing Centrelink, child support, taxation department, superannuation, and one other organisation. And every time I rung one, they said, no, you've got to speak to the other one first. So you'd ring them back, you'd then have to ring this one back, and they said, now you have to speak to this one. So I spent about 8 or 9 hours on the phone. I just got the news that we'd gone belly up. I was responsible for the money, and now I had to spend 8 or 9 hours on the phone ringing around trying to find out what I was going to do for money to feed my family. Next day I woke up and I was a complete vegetable for 18 months.
Really? From the smoking?
No, just from the stress.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It just clicked. My brain had just said, no more. Can't do this.
When you say vegetable, like?
I mean, I'd get up in the morning. I wasn't sleepy. I'd get up. When I'd sleep, I'd get up and I'd sit on the lounge and I'd play mind-numbing games, or I'd sit at the computer desk or the computer playing ridiculous games like block games or whatever. Right. And I remember one clear time I said to Nicole, I said, what are we going to have for dinner? So what are we going to have for lunch? She said, lunch. I said, it's dark outside, I'm cooking dinner. And I didn't know what time it was. I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know what month or what year. You know, my brain had just said, look, I've had enough. No more. The trauma that I've experienced, and then the stress on top of that, and the anxiety, and what can I do, and it just shut off. It just, no more. I've had my fill. You've worked me too hard. I'm going to take a rest. And it did. And I go through those cycles. I remember one day I had to go to Centrelink. Went in there. I normally park my car in the Coles car park, but for some reason I parked it on the main street. Oh, beat up Commodore wagon. That's all I could afford. That's all I had. I lost everything else. Went into Centrelink, come out. I'm looking all around the car park from the car. 40, 45 minutes it's gone past. Sweating, breathing, really starting to worry about it. I'm thinking, I'm going to have to ring coppers and report it stolen. Someone stole my car. Something clicked in me. Oh, no, I didn't park here. I went out the main drag, got in the car, put my keys in, started it up. Shit, I don't know where I live. No idea. Hadn't just moved there. Been living there for years. Didn't know where I lived. So I drove the car over to Toronto Police Station. Parked it, walked in the front. The sergeant there, I said, can you tell me where I live? He said, mate, how'd you get here? So I drove. And he goes, mate, I need you to come out the back. Look, I'm driving around. He immediately brake tested me, drug tested me. And he said, mate, why don't you look at your license? What's the license? I didn't even know I had a driver's license. I just knew that there was a cop shop that all my brain could comprehend is go to the cop shop, they'll be able to tell you what's going on. And it was lucky that cop got me taken home. Because if I'd driven home, there's no way in the world I would have been here. Yeah. Because
so how long did that last for?
About 18 months.
18 months.
Someone told me a thing about setting goals. I tried everything. I tried to pull myself out of it. I got onto medication and started taking the edge off, and I started getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And then I spoke to this guy and he said, mate, you need to set yourself some goals. I said, what like? He said, well, what do you hope to achieve? I said, mate, I've got to get back to work. I went to Centrelink and they arranged an appointment. I was trying to get on the disability pension because couldn't work. Couldn't sleep, couldn't work. And I went in there. Apparently, you got to get 17.5 points. I got 17. So they rejected it. So they gave me a capacity that I could work 4 to 8 hours a week. And if I did, they'd take half of my Centrelink payment off me. So, yeah. So I'd earn $80, $100. Then I'd lose $200 for a fortnight by earning it. Just to get out of the house and start working.
Yeah.
So he said, what goals are you? So, mate, I've got to get back to work. Can't get Centrelink. Got to get back to work straight away. He said, set yourself goals. At that point, I could go 3-4 days without sleeping. I'd napped in the afternoon whenever I could. People would come over and they go, "Where's Rod? He's out. He's in there. Be quiet. He's having a nap." Oh, what the fuck's he having a nap at this time of the day for? No wonder he doesn't sleep at night. He hasn't slept for 3 days. He needs to nap because he's dead tired. Can't function tired. So in the end, I set the goal. First goal was get up at 7. Get up and be ready to leave the house at 7:30. Now, if I'd gone to bed at 6 a.m., I had to be up, showered, ready, dressed to be out of the house by 7:30, regardless. Set that for 3 weeks, missed a few days, but hit most of the days. Second one was be ready by 7 o'clock. So 3 weeks, missed maybe 2 days in that. Third task was 3 weeks, be ready to leave the house by 6:30. Now, that meant I could get to Gosford or to Newcastle, to any job, by public transport and be there by 9 a.m. start. I did that for 3 weeks, didn't miss one day. The third week, I come out, walked out to the kitchen, said to Cole, "I'm going to get a job." He said, "What?" So I'm going to get a job today.
All right, so what did you get?
Transfield.
Yeah, okay.
I walked to my job employment. I was with Castle Personnel, Disability Employment Specialist. Yeah. I went in there and said, I need work now. And they said, the only thing we've got going is cleaners with Transfield. I'll take it.
Right, bro. So we mentioned before that October's quite rough.
Yeah.
And there's 2 major events that happened in your life. But that was the fire thing.
Yeah, that was the day after my birthday, so that's coming up. The biggest one, recent times, was 2 years ago. So I lost Nicole, my wife, to cancer. 1st of October, she died in my arms and at home on the toilet. She had a do not resuscitate in place. She'd fought a hard, long battle. So all up 5 years. Breast cancer, operated on, cleared. She had reconstruction surgery, all went well. One day she started getting niggling pains in the back and the stomach. Went to the doctor, they did a scan and found that it metastasized in the liver. Her liver was the size of, your liver's supposed to be the size of a football normally, but it was huge, enormous. They found the 11.5 centimetre lesion in there and an 8.5 centimetre lesion.
The lesion is a cancer.
So impossible to operate on. Secondary cancer, so it's immediately stage 4, terminal. When they got the diagnosis, she was in hospital during COVID. So she was on her own, and the oncologist came in. I was at work. The oncologist came in, sat down, and for a very, I suppose, cold person, really, really good at a job, but that sort of a job you can't really get personal. She sat down and actually grabbed her hand and said, "I'm afraid this is going to take you and it's going to do you in 6 months." So that was, I got the call at work. I went to the hospital because she'd had visitors earlier that day. I couldn't see her because of COVID. You only have 2 people.
Fuck, man, that's some bullshit, that COVID thing.
So we spoke all night on the phone, crying to each other, over the phone. That was the only contact we could have till I could get there the next day. So went through the process of insurances and that. She had to give up work. But they gave her 6 months and she went 3 years.
Wow.
Things like...
she was a fighter.
Oh, yeah. But she went 3 years every week having chemo.
3 years.
For 3 years. Yeah, every week they rape, they pump the poison into her.
And that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's poison.
My young bloke had finished high school the year before, in COVID times. He was going to go to the Navy gap year, but they'd done it hard. Kids had done it really hard at school during COVID. So I said to him, look, mate, why don't you defer it? Because his biggest worry was he'd go into the Navy, get down there and something happened to his mum.
Yeah, of course.
His training and that, like, you'd break up. And I said, look, mate, I want you to be focused, so we applied for him becoming Nicole's carer, and he did. This kid, mate, talk about a hero. Like, you talk about people that, talk about sporting heroes and that, mate, I've got my kids are my heroes.
Yeah.
They really are. This kid would drive up there and sit in a car park at the Mater Hospital for 6 hours away from his mum doing chemo. Just listen to the radio and dozing off. Just to drive her up there, drive her back, drive to all of her appointments and that. Never, ever complained about one thing. Never complained about being hot in the car, waiting for her or anything like that. So that went through. We noticed that she started blowing up. So the liver stopped working correctly. She started filling up with fluid. So she started expanding, basically. They put her in for a drain. They said, we're going to drain your stomach. And they took 10.8 litres of fluid out of her on the first drain. The problem was because the liver, that's bile and all that sort of stuff that the liver can't process. It just was filling her up. So she's walking around like with a baby, basically, for 3 years. And she was tiny, like Amanda, like your height, your build. But she was just, always bloated. They ended up, it was about every 4 to 6 weeks that she'd have to go in overnight and have that drained up. Chemo every week. He couldn't go away, he couldn't do anything, because the problem is they give the chemo on the Thursday, the Friday, they give steroids. Saturday, Sunday, by Sunday afternoon, she'd start to feel the effects of the chemo. Now, we were really lucky with chemo, if you could ever say that. She never threw up with it. She lost all the hair and that sort of stuff, but never had the problems that a lot of people do with, vomiting constantly after chemo. But then about Monday afternoon, Tuesday, she'd really start perk up. Wednesday, she'd be really good on the Wednesday. Thursday, chemo again. And it just cycles through like that. It started in the stage where Sunday was going into Monday. Then she was having Tuesday, Wednesday that were good days. In the end, it was probably right due for her to have the drain done because she was bloated right up. I noticed she'd start to go yellow. She'd start getting yellowing in the eyes, like jaundice or like someone with liver failure. And my older boy came over. He was mucking around with the young bloke in the backyard. I made her a sandwich. She ate it. She was out there laughing with him. One of her friends come over, picked up a few plants because she'd actually booked an appointment. This was the Sunday. Can't remember now. Whatever day it was, but the following Thursday she was going to the funeral director to plan her funeral.
Oh, wow. She'd
actually booked it in to go and sit down and what music and, what coffin and that she was going to have. We'd pay for all of it. But she'd organise that. So on the it was a Sunday morning, because on the Sunday night, she said to me, she says, I said, I can't get comfortable lying down. He said, do you mind? And I always slept on the lounge. I slept on the lounge for 8 years because of my PTSD and then with her cancer. So she said, do you mind if I come out in the lounge room and just sit up in the recliner with you? Yeah, go for your life, And it was really weird because the cat was up on the bed and the cat and the dog hate each other. Well, the dog loves the cat, but the cat can't stand the dog. But the dogs jumped up on the bed, had to be up on the bed, and the cats tolerated it. They're just watching each other the whole time, but they're both on the bed with her. I thought, that's weird. Then she came out in the lounge room and I put up the recliner and she just turned around and she said, and the cat wouldn't leave her alone. It's trying to get her on the belly. She's uncomfortable as it is. I'm pushing the cat off, jumping back up there, meowing and all the rest. Didn't put it together, and the dog threw it next to her. They knew what was coming.
Yeah.
So I was dozing on and off on the lounge. She woke me up and said, I've got to go to the toilet because always having to go to the toilet because of the pressure. like been pregnant, and she's I've taken her to the toilet, and when I took her to the toilet, she's having a real hard time with the breathing, and she was in quite an amount, like I wouldn't say pain, but discomfort, like awkwardness. So I took her to the toilet, took her out. So I'm just going to call for an ambulance. We'll get you up to the Mater Hospital, get you on some oxygen, and get you some pain relief. And because we had Ordine, which is liquid morphine dosing, and I'd already given her that, so she may need a bit more that I couldn't give her. So I put her back on the lounge. I was just about to ring 000, and she goes, "Oh, right, I've got to go to the toilet again." And I knew straight away she had an heart attack. Oh, that's one of the signs of symptoms.
Yeah.
So obviously the pressure was putting that much pressure on the heart. So I grabbed up and took her into the toilet. Put her on the toilet, rung 000. I then seen that she went into cardiac arrest and then stroked. I toyed with the idea we'd had an agreement that I wouldn't do life saving on it.
Yeah.
I'd been scrutinised for it. I actually had people on Messenger that said, with your experience and what you could do, and with the amount of people you've done CPR on, why didn't you save a life? She didn't want to be saved.
You have to respect her choice.
We had an agreement. We had a DNR in place that when it was time.
And that would have been really hard for you to override those instincts to do that too.
Exactly right. And I've got 000 saying, "Oh, I need you to pull her to the floor." I said, "Look, I'm not doing CPR." I grabbed her, I cuddled her, and I said, "Look, you fought a great battle. I love you. It's time to go." Yeah. I closed her eyes, and then she was gone. I said to 000, I said, "Look, we've got a DNR in place. You need to contact the Mater Hospital and get a copy of that DNR sent to the ambulance crew, because I don't want to rock up and start working on it."
Yeah.
It's very important. It's important people know that
of course,
have your wishes respected. So they did. And when the ambulance crew got there, I met them out the front. My young bloke was out there, the 19-year-old. I met them and I said, "Look, you don't need that. You don't need a defibrillator. You'll need your heart monitor. You don't need oxygen. You need your laptop. There's a DNR on it. They've sent it to you." And so they came in, opened up on the kitchen, quickly out of room and said, "Okay, where is she? We'll go do a code 4 on it," which is deceased. Once they were doing that, and I had the task that I had to go and wake up my then 17-year-old daughter and my 9-year-old son, tell them that their mum was dead in the bathroom. That was hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been.
So I asked him, I said, "Do you want to say goodbye to her?" So my big boy went in and he said goodbye, and then the 9-year-old said, "Do you want to see your mum?" And he said, "Yes, please." So I let him go in there and give her a cuddle and a kiss goodbye. And then ambulance were really, really good. Well, it probably helped that I had a St John ambulance vehicle in the front driveway, but they were off duty. They picked up a call, code 1. They were going back to the station to clock off, and they just responded. And they made me a cuppa, sat down with me and said, "Okay, what, have you got any arrangements?" And I said, "Well, no, I know where she's going, Barbara King." And so I rang up Barbara King because they got the round the clock, and her son answered. And he said, "No, that can't be right. She's coming in next Thursday." I said, "Mate, she's gone today." And he said, "I'll be there in half an hour." And he did. He dropped everything, jumped in the car, came in. He went over to, we're all at the back. I was having a smoke and a coffee, and we're all at the back, stunned, obviously. And he came and pulled all the curtains across so he could take her down. So yeah, that's that anniversary's just gone. So that's a second.
Yeah.
First anniversary was still sort of very surreal. It's like maybe she'll come back one day. Second ones were really that's like, this is us. That's it. So I'm lucky. I've got the support network I've got.
Yeah. Great kids.
Yeah, great kids. Like to get 5 out of 5. Like usually, you got 5 kids, you're gonna get one arsehole in there, and I haven't. Like, they are the best. But the community, like, we were talking earlier about how things used to be. But when you live in a community, there's two sides to it. One bad side to it is if you do anything, everybody knows. But if anything happens, everybody knows. And everybody helps.
There was, from memory too, because I want to give people shout outs. There was a real estate agency that really done you a favour. What was it?
Ellejayne Realty.
Shout out to Ellejayne.
Ben and Sal, we've known Sal for years. She gave us that first rental property after the meltdown, I couldn't sign a lease anywhere. I was bankrupt.
Yeah.
And Nicole just walked in there and said to Sally one day, I need a house. And Sally said, I've got this thing around here. It hasn't been listed yet. I'll take you around there now. She had Tyson in her arm, so it's 20-something years ago. And she said, what do you think? And Nicole goes, I love it. She goes, oh, it's yours. No application, no nothing. Just walked into an office and just with a kid and just said, oh.
So that's the power of a good community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we found out we had to, when Nicole's heavy into treatment, we found out we had to move from our old place. So Sal and Ben, they organised our bond on the new place. Because
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, because unlikely.
So well done, Ben.
Yeah. There's also another couple, Michael and Crystal Wigley. So the place that they got onto real estate, like onto Ellejayne, and Karina Wink, you know her from the soccer club, used to be the secretary down there. She's the property manager. She rang me. I was at netball. She rang me, so I've got to find your house. I said, what are you talking about? She said, I've been told. So Michael, who's got has got a lease property with Ellejayne and does their bookwork because he's an accountant, he rang and said, look, these people need a house and they need one now. Found a place that hadn't been listed, people who weren't even out yet, go around and have a look at it. And I come back and said, look, mate, anything will do us. The house looks fine from the outside. I said, the problem is I've got a dog and there's no side fence. Oh, man, I've got that organised. So he got his contractor to go around and put a colour-bond fence and gate on the side out of his pocket.
Wow. And
they paid for the removals and the 2 weeks rent in advance because they knew I couldn't clean up the old house on my own while I'm driving her to treatment and get the bond back. So I was going to lose the bond, or the majority of the bond. I couldn't do anything about it. It's going to be two places at once. So, yeah, the community come together.
That's awesome.
I wasn't even there the day that we moved. Everything was picked up from the old house and dropped off at the new place. I come home and it's like I just set everything out. Paul, friend of mine, he's a removalist. We got him in. Tyson just told him, mate, I think he'll want that over there. And they put it all in place. They built the beds all over there. Put it all together.
Well, that is amazing, man. Yeah. That is amazing.
Hey, like, I never ever try to big name myself, but I've spent a lot of time volunteering in the community.
Yeah, of course.
The soccer club, football club, and all the rest. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've always treated people with respect unless they've, otherwise warranted it. And it comes back.
It does, man. It certainly does.
People will help you out when you're at your lowest.
So. It does. And well, mate, that is a perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
Rod, thank you so much for your story, brother.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Just before we go, can I say a big thank you to you and Blake for doing this?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, Blake couldn't make it today, so we had to do it without him. But
I drive around with the podcast going in my car all the time now. Some of the guests you've had, just even you guys talking about, when you're on your own, talking about the stuff that you do, you're making a big difference.
Thank you, man. It was really nice.
It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the community. So
thank you
very much.
Legend,
my pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. We'll put the descriptions in below, especially for the amazing people that in the community. And thank you.